In this demo, I'll be explaining how you can configure remote debugging for your .NET application running in OpenShift cluster with the debugger of VS Code running on your local machine. So for that, I'm referring to this documentation. You can pretty much easily access this documentation, and all the steps are defined in details here. So as a first step, you should have a running .NET application and a Docker file to containerize that application and a way to deploy this application to OpenShift cluster. And for that, I'm using Stickator's leader Helm chart, and there is this values.yaml file for that. There's nothing special in this values.yaml file apart from volumes and volume mounts. So this is kind of a hard requirement for remote debugging step because the remote debugger want access to slash temp directory in the container. So that's why. So there are some configuration that we need to do in the Docker file as well. There are for this particular example, I have a two-stage Docker file, and in first stage we are building the .NET application. Along with that, we are downloading the Visual Studio Debugger, which is a tool that will be used for remote debugging, and we are setting up groups and users inside that group, and they are crucial to restrict the final container image to run as non-root. And I'm deploying this through inner loop via this tilt file. So there is nothing special in this tilt file. And once I do tilt up, I have already done that. And it will deploy this application or a pod in the cluster. And you need to copy the name of this pod, which will be used in later stages. So as a next step, you need to set up the debugger configuration, and you can do that by coming to this run and debug pane and select add new configuration. Since I already have this configuration, so I'll not do that, and I'll jump straight to the launch.json file. You can find this launch.json file in .vs code slash launch.json file, and what you need to do is add this configuration. This configuration is already available in that documentation, and update the name of the pod that you copied already. I have already done that, so there is no need for that. And you can come here and click on start debugging, and what will happen is that the debugger that is running inside this cluster will ask to select a process to which it will attach. In our case, it will be .NET 1, as the application run as PID1. So I'll select that. And if you go to debug console, or debug console, it will try to attach to the application running in the pod. And now you can interact with your application API to hit a particular debug point. So if I click here on execute, it will hit a debug point which I selected in my local environment in VS Code, and you can look at pretty much all the things that are related to debugging. And you can ultimately remove the debugger by clicking on disconnect.